Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to Card Making Project 567. Today we're going to make, I think, one of the prettiest cards using our Anna Griffin supplies, all of which are listed on my blog, so please be sure to check it out. The blog link is below in the YouTube description, and you can also find extra photos of both inside and outside of all the projects on my blog, so it's well worth spending 5-10 minutes on there just to tickle your creative imagination. You can always find me on Facebook under Anne-Marie Vaux, V-A-U-X, and it would be great to have you on board, so please check that out if you have 5 minutes. You can also subscribe to YouTube as well. At the end, my head will pop up in a little circle. Just click on it and you can subscribe free of charge. You can just be notified then of when new tutorials are available. Now, as I said, this card is such a pretty one. I think you're really going to like it. Well, I know you're going to like this one because it is just classic vintage prettiness. So please sit back, relax, and let's have a look at today's gorgeous project. So for today's tutorial, we're going to be using the original treasury set from Anna Griffin. We're going to be using this outline stamp here, and then we're also going to use the Just For You stamp. We're also going to be using the large oval cartouche die. Now, the stamps, the centre of the stamp where we're using the frame, that peels away, so then you can use the frame of the stamp with any of the actual wording sentiments. So that's what we're doing. We're using this one here with these words here. We're going to use the words Just For You on both the inside and the outside of our card. We're also going to be using the Anna Griffin lace border dies and embossing folders. This is a set that came together. We're going to be using the floral lace 3D embossing folder out of the folder set, and we're going to be using this particular die here. We're going to use both the shadow layer and the ornate layer. So those are kind of the main ingredients that we're going to use for our card. The card we're going to use, our base card, is a 7x5 inch card, ivory. I've already used my handmade stamp on the back, added my name. I always add my project number just so that I know, and it keeps me in track of which is which, basically. I'm going to use my bone folder from the Anna Griffin tool collection just to make sure that my crease is nice and sharp for when the card stands up. It just makes it look a little bit more professional. So we're going to start with the inside of our card. Now what I've done is I've taken a piece of ivory cardstock that matches the actual card itself, and I've used the embossing folder, the floral lace, and I've just trimmed away the outside edge. I haven't taken a lot of time and care over it. I've just kind of gone with the pattern and gone with the flow. But you can see the embossing. I've left it as embossing for this. I know we do the technique where we emboss and then we flatten it, but that's, you know, that's for other cards. I've left it just as it is for this. And it's so pretty. You can see the detail in that embossing. I've got flat tape on the back, so I can peel the tape away. Now don't worry about adding the embossing to the inside of the card because it's still going to close. It's quite a high card in layers anyways, this one, so the inside isn't going to make too much of a difference. So I'm pressing that down for the inside of our card. I've also taken a bit of cardstock from the Anna Griffin Perfect Palette Everyday 2 collection, and it's kind of like, I would say like a golden straw colour. It might be a pale gold colour to some, but it's kind of a dark straw colour, I would say. Not quite the colour of a hare's back as it would be for them to plough and to, you know, to combine. But, you know, I think it's kind of like golden straw. I've got flat tape on the back and I've cut this to the size, roughly, of the rectangle in the centre of our embossing. So I'm just going to pop that in the centre, like so, and press it down. And then using the cartouche die from the Treasury collection and the stamps that I showed you, I've stamped in black permanent ink, die cut the shape out. I've got flat tape on the back, and I can peel the back of my tape away, and I'm going to add the sentiment. Now, if you've watched me before many times, you know I like symmetrical cards. And I find it very hard to do either a wonky card or a card that's not in the middle. So this card is not in the middle, and the main focal point on the front is going to be to this side of the card. And I am trying with all my might to put the sentiment at that side, but just part of me wants to put it here. So I'm struggling a little bit, and I'm going with instinct. I'm going to put it to this side. Now this panel gives you a nice panel to write in, and that is the centre of our card. Something a little bit different, and that embossing just looks so pretty. It just all works. Now we can turn our attention to the outside of the card. I think this, with the layers, is going to be pretty dramatic. And you'll see what I mean about the inside when we finish. But, you know, I have to work on my non-symmetrical thing. The first layer for the outside of the card is, again, the golden straw colour from the Perfect Palette Everyday collection from Anna Griffin. Perfect Palette 2 Everyday. I've got flat tape on the back, and I'm just going to position it through the centre of the card. I've cut it just less than 1/4 of an inch, less than the 7x5, just to give it a little bit of a border. It doesn't really matter, because our next layer will take the eye away anyway. And our next layer is the same as the inside, ivory embossed using our floral lace embossing folder from the Lace Border Die and Embossing Folder set. Again, I've trimmed the edge away, and this time I've got it on 3D foam, and I'm just going to pop it down onto the card through the centre of our previous layer, and then I can press it down. Next, I've die cut the lace dies and the shadow layer. I want to show you all of these pieces that I've die cut, because then that'll save me. I've got to place them onto the card really to make sure they get positioned. So there's 2 of the shadow layers in the straw colour, and then what I've done is I've taken the shadow layer again in ivory, and I've taken the ornate layer in ivory as well, and I've trimmed them a little bit just at the bottom, and I can position one over the top of the other to give them a shadowed effect like that. So I've done that twice, and I've just, as I say, I've just cut it a little bit short because I want them for the middle of the card. Now the first thing I'm going to do is take one of the straw coloured layers and just place that on my card, roughly about there, I would say. And then the second one, roughly opposite it, and hopefully then the 2 layers of the ivory ornate will sit as a shadow on top of the previous layer. I keep going quiet while I'm crafting. Normally I can chatter and craft at the same time, but I'm kind of like holding my breath thinking, oh, is this going to work? So those are our 2 layers. This is our second one, and we just want that little bit of shadow from the colour underneath matching those layers up. And I think that looks okay so far. Next, because we've overlapped them in the middle bits, I just want to tidy that little bit up. Now, a long time ago, a lot of Anna's kits have border strips in them, and I've been asked numerous times, not lately, but about what to do with them. And I think this is perfect for what to do with the border strips. So what I've done is I've got 3D tape on the back, and I'm simply going to position it over the centre to cover the join, so to speak. I'm just going to trim that edge away because then it will all sit neatly on the card. So if I just trim that slightly like that, then my next layer is from the Crown Embellishment stickers. So it's a sticker, so we're just going to peel the back of this away, and I'm going to position it to one side of the card. Now this is the bit I struggle with because I do like symmetry, and I thought for this we're going to go a little bit different. So I'm going to press that down, and then I'm going to add my sentiment. Now this is where I've stamped from the Treasury collection, and I've used the cartouche die to cut out where I've stamped. I've heat embossed it with gold embossing powder, and I've got it on 3D foam. So I'm just going to pop that through the centre of the Crown Embellishment sticker. Next, I've got 2 roses. Now these could be from any collection at all. They could be things that you've got left over from old card making kits, from sticker kits, anything you've got really. They don't have to be the same. You could use any colour, any flowers. So those are my 2 flowers, and I'm going to finish it off with a little gold bow. And I'm going to just pop the bow just underneath the sentiment. I've got the small bow on 3D foam like that, and I'm just going to position it there and then press it down, and that is our card finished. Our gorgeous inside. Now you can see what I mean about the sentiment. You could do it at either side. I just felt more comfortable doing it at the opposite side. Don't know why. Oh, my flowers popped off. And press that down again. There we go. Nice and firm. So our insert matches perfectly to our outside. And it's just such a pretty card. Those gorgeous layers and the gorgeous colours. A little bit different for us using the golds and the well, like a spun straw and the ivory, all works so well. Stands up nicely. Quite a few layers on there, but it will still go in a normal envelope, I think. I don't think you'd need a big fat mailer for that, but it was just such a pretty card. Please check my blog for everything that we've used and for the links from my friends across the pond for items available. And extra photos, so much more information. There's lots of projects on there, so please feel free to check it out. Share them with your crafty friends. Say hello on Facebook if you look for Anne-Marie Vaux. All the links are on the video at the end. And you know what? You can always subscribe to YouTube as well to get notifications for when new videos are available. So I would just like to say thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time.